So this is the step 2 of our new process of deposit feature. So we have already sent an approval request to the customer, which includes a deposit request after we received a deposit request from the vendor. So at this stage, it's pending approval, job status. And if we go to the email that was sent to the customer, as I mentioned in my my last video, that we need to know, we don't need to know, but basically it would be helpful if we know what happens with the customer end as well when they approve it. So when they receive this email, they will receive the PDF as well, which clearly mentions once approved, an upfront deposit of 2,000 is required before we commence, and the estimate is there. Close the preview. So if we click on view estimate now, with basically the only button on the email that they receive, so it will show here as well. It will directly log them in into the customer portal and directly to the estimate. And here it's also mentioned that once approved, an upfront deposit of particular amount is required. So the project may commence. So they would know beforehand, before approving the estimate, that a deposit will be required. So when the customer approves the estimate, we'll just wait till the process completes. Since it's on the test server, it requires a bit of time, which will not be applicable for necessarily applicable to the live server. So once the customer approves the estimate, several things happen simultaneously. So just wait till the process is complete. So yes, the process is complete. The status shows estimate approved. And we can see this over here. The customer has done his or her job. So what we will do is go back home and reload. So you can see the customer response is that the customer has approved the estimate. So here we can see several things happening over here. An email has been sent to the admins mentioning that the customer has approved an estimate, and associated vendor estimate was correspondingly approved, the usual email that we require, and additional approval that the vendor usually receives also goes along. And what it also does is create an automatic invoice to the customer, which is sent to the customer, of the partial payment or the deposit amount. So this is basically deposit invoice due upon received, and this is automatically sent to the customer. And you can see that gets all the breakdowns defined correctly, that a deposit due now is of $2,000. So these are the three things that simultaneously happens. And also another thing that happens is during this stage is that while this job remains on the dashboard, and we just need to note that the PO is 823. If we go into the accounting tab, you can see that there is a new deposit tab in the accounting grid. So if we click on the deposit tab, you can see that 823, this has come over here, and it has its own sequence of the things that are of the process that's going to happen while it's on the deposit. And on this grid, you will find that there is a tooltip over here. Once you click that, it will also define all the things that are being done over here for clarification later on if you require any steps to be clarified. So this thing is basically when the job moves into the accounting grid. And of course, as you can remember, that this does not remove the job from the service side, but there is a new button over here that requests deposit payment to vendor. We will do that a bit later after we have done the processes of receiving the customer deposit. So this step on this video, we will just leave you here, and we will continue from the next step when the customer deposit is actually received. Thank you.